there's some stuff I want to say, and I'm not sure it's going to come out pretty. So here it goes. This is a request I have, and obviously I'm not entitled to a response, but or anything. I'm not entitled to any kind of receptiveness or anything, but I really would like to speak to not just conservative Republicans and not just liberal Democrats and not even just independents in the political spectrum of American society right now. I want to talk to all of us. This is something that involves all of us, right? We're all human, right? We can't really deny that. It's not really an opinion, it's a fact, right? I think we can all agree that we're all human, regardless of political party. And if you're not human, cool. But I'm pretty sure that we're all human. And so, in this fact lies another truth, that we all think that we're the good guys, that we're doing what's right, and that the opposition is the bad guys, right? No matter which side you're on, whether you support Trump or whether you don't. We all think we're the good guy, because most people aren't willing to fight for something if they believe they're in the wrong, right? So I want us to all hear this, that we all think we're right. However, I have noticed both sides of the political spectrum thinking that because they are in the right, that they no longer have to listen to the opposition. And of course, I have my own political bias in this, but I find that for something to be true, it must be able to be applied to everyone, right? Okay, so we all think we're right, and we all think we're fighting for goodness. What I want to ask all of you is, in your quest for goodness and rightness, are you dehumanizing the opposition? Because we've already stated that this is a fact, that we are all human. We are all part of humanity, one species, right? And so, regardless of our individual beliefs, politically or even religiously, we like to think we're the good guy, don't we? That's what's worth fighting for, what is right and good, right? So, I think a good litmus test for if you really are in the right is, are you dehumanizing the opposition to your point? Because many of us, part of what we don't like about the opposition is that they dehumanize us. But if we're doing that to them, we're really not any better. Oftentimes in life, we find that opposites are actually equal, right? In a certain sense. Equal and opposite at the same time. So I wanted to ask everyone, in your quest for rightness and goodness, are you sure that you're still listening to that which you think you're better than? Because if not, you're no better than the people you're fighting against. And that pains me to say that as someone who, up until very recently, considered myself very staunchly liberal democratic, and I still kind of identify in this, but I also feel more truth in the concept that it's not about the political parties, but it's about transcending that. And so I've thought, what is bigger than the political parties, than the country even? It's humanity. We're all one species. We're all human, right? Why are we fighting with ourselves over what is right when we're both in the wrong because we won't even listen to the other side? We are what is keeping us from collaborating. And we can blame the other person, but we are ignoring the truth. I know plenty of people from my side who want to name call and degrade and not argue. And I also understand that we don't owe anyone our mental energy, right? But we say that we're the good guys and we want things to change. Yet, we're doing the exact same things as the opposition, shutting them out, belittling them, believing that they don't have an opinion worthy of even being listened to or even corrected or understood or anything. We're dehumanizing each other. And the funny thing is, when we dehumanize our human opposition, we're only hurting ourselves. Humanity is who's suffering when we fight each other. And I know it's really, really, really hard to step out of our preconceived notions of what is good and what is bad, what is right and what is wrong. And it is even harder to find empathy for the exact opposite of everything we've ever believed. And I'm not saying anyone should do a 180 and switch political parties or anything like that even. I'm saying that what's really going to make a difference in our legislation is all of us coming into self-awareness. And I know that's kind of like a scary word to some people, but all that truly means is becoming conscious of your own flaws and strengths. Becoming more and more aware of the different facets of yourself. And I think something that can help, especially in the United States political climate currently, for both sides, would be to stop and ask yourself, the group of humans that dehumanizes the humans that disagree with them, are they really going to be what's best for humanity? Because I truly believe what is good and right is going to be the best for all of us as a species, right? So I don't think it's very logical to believe that you are the champion of goodness and correctness if you're dehumanizing others, regardless of what you believe. I just don't think that's the right way to go about actually bringing about goodness. I don't think it's correct, regardless of the party you have or identify with. If you are dehumanizing people who oppose you and you don't feel any compassion for them, that's not the kind of thing a good person does, is it? And I know we're not perfect. I know we're human, and I know we'll still get angry, and we'll still have emotions, and we'll still make mistakes, and all of this. But self-awareness isn't about being perfect. Building awareness of your own consciousness and the nature of your own reality, it's not about fighting with ourselves and deciding which part of us is right. If we want to build towards something truly good for humanity, we have to make sure we are able to see the humanity even in those that disagree with us. When we look at the villains of history, they were all people who denied the humanity of those they opposed. I don't think any of us want to be like that. We all want to be the good guy, right? So we have to be really genuinely honest with ourselves about what is good. I like to think in terms of good being helpful and bad being harmful. So if we want what is good for humanity, we want what is going to help us all more than what is going to hurt us all. And so far, everything I've seen in life, when we fight, we get hurt. And sure, you can say, well, only one person gets hurt. But again, we are one species. So if one human is being hurt, part of humanity is being hurt. So does fighting truly solve anything, even if you think you're fighting for what's right or what's good? I don't think fighting solves anything. I don't think arguing solves anything. Now, I do believe in constructive conversations, and I definitely believe that those are only possible with true empathy and compassion for the people we don't understand. even if they're bigots, even if they're a gender you have no idea like how it works, that you don't understand their gender, they're still human, just like you. And I truly firmly believe no one human is better than the rest. No one type of human is more deserving of their humanity being recognized than the others. In a way, it's almost the folly of man to believe that one could be either good or bad. I don't think there is any wrong kind of human. I just think there are humans that, I mean, we all have something to learn. Some of us more than others, but I don't think that's anything bad or anything to be ashamed of. We don't walk down a path and say that the stone at the end is all that mattered because it's closest to the destination, do we? We could not reach the last stone without the first one, or the middle, or any of them in between. They are all equal parts of the path. And so too with humans, regardless of where we are with our understanding of ourselves, we are still one humanity. For better or worse, we are both the best of us and the worst of us. And we don't solve that. We don't find peace in that by judging it and saying how it should be or what we want it to be. We find peace with it through acceptance. And as we accept, then we can learn and try and understand. So yeah, this is probably rambling, and obviously no one ever owes me any kind of response or even a listen. But I do think that it's an important question that we all start asking ourselves, especially those of us, like me, too, who have been on the political crusade for standing up for the vulnerable. Sure, in my mind, I believe this is what's good and right. But I have to also admit that I was acting just like the opposition and dehumanizing them and not being willing to listen to them and definitely not being willing to love them. So how am I any different than them? And that brought me great shame, and I've used it as a catalyst to change my entire perspective. And it's very difficult for me to grasp at times. I am human and I slip back into comfortable patterns, and it is very much more comfortable to have a definitive good and bad guy in humanity. But that's just part of the illusion. We can pretend we're separate, pretend we're much different than the others, but the truth is we're all the same species. And we can keep fighting with ourselves ad infinitum, or we can choose something different. You know, I've been on this kick of understanding that if I want a life I've never had, I have to be willing to do things I've never done. And likewise, if we want a humanity that we've never had before, we have to be willing to look at humanity in a way we never had before and do things that humanity has never done before. We have to have an inner revolution, and I think I was really stuck for a long time on the importance of the outer revolution. And though I do believe inner and outer are connected, I do not think that changing the outer revolution, changing the outside with a revolution will necessarily spur an inner revolution. And I do think that humanity is in dire need of an inner revolution, because if we look at humanity as a species, what do we see? Sure, there are beautiful people, artists, and those who help the poor and the sick, those that heal, but we also have those that hurt. We have rapists and murderers and child sexual abusers and the nastiest, grossest things we can think of. How do we move out of these modes of reality and thought and perception that keep our species so divided? We have to give up the desire to be right and good, right? I don't know. I'm just babbling now. But I don't know. I just think a little bit of introspection never hurt anyone. And oftentimes I find it helps. We're all human, and we all deserve to have our humanity recognized, appreciated, and respected. Even if we don't always agree with every single human. And I think that's kind of what we've lost, is that basic respect for humanity and human life. I think maybe we never had it, maybe only some of us had it, but I think it's time that we all start understanding how we all need it, because we're all of us. Humanity is all of us. Yeah, so enjoy my crazy ramblings, and if any of it helps you think a little bit more, cool. If not, okay. Have a good one.